Have you ever heard of the World Economic Forum? Did you know that they are meeting now, this week? As I record this, 3,000 corporate leaders, bankers and politicians have descended on Davos, Switzerland, and they are not there for après-ski. This is the World Economic Forum. This meeting happens every year in Davos. This year it's from the 19th to the 23rd of January. I am filming this on the 21st, so they are in full flow as we speak. This is a networking event for powerful people. To be invited to this event, you need to have deep pockets. Attending this event requires a membership, and membership fees for the World Economic Forum can run up to $670,000 per person. On top of which, your ticket, your badge to get in here, costs $35,000 each. And for those with really deep pockets, sponsorship packages run up to $1 million. So what do you get for your money? Corporate sponsors and wealthy attendees are paying for access to politicians. Let's say you're a pharmaceutical executive and you want to be in the room when health policy gets written. Coming to Davos gives you direct access to network with those finance and health ministers who will later write said policies. In attendance at Davos this week are over 400 political officials and leaders, including 65 heads of state. Yes, Donald Trump is there. As of me recording, he's about to go on stage and give his keynote speech. Yes, all European leaders are there. Emmanuel Macron, Friedrich Merz, Keir Starmer, they're all there. Ursula von der Leyen, Zelensky, Javier Milei is there. El Sisi of Egypt is there. They're all there. I tell you who's not there. BRICS. No representation from China. No representation from Brazil. No representation from India. The whole bleeding Trump crew are in town. People who have no good business being there at all, including Jared fucking Kushner. This year marks the largest US delegation to Davos in its history. Meeting with all of these power holders, these government officials, these people who hold responsibility in your name, have spent the guts of $1 million each to get themselves to this ski resort this week. You can go and figure out, in my country, who funded that trip. Was it the taxpayer? Those politicians have come to this ski resort so that they can be dazzled and flattered and manipulated by over 850 business CEOs. There are over 100 tech leaders and a full list of Western NGOs. Jensen Huang is there. Satya Nadella is there. Jamie Dimon is there. Alex Karp is there. Peter Thiel is there. Larry Fink is there. Bill Gates is there. Andy Jassy is there. And Trump is holding a private reception for Indian business leaders this year. A billionaire funds this forum, and the forum convenes all the billionaires. They bring all the world leaders into this room that's private, confidential, does not share its meeting notes, and they facilitate activities that encourage private-public partnerships, i.e. the selling off of your state's assets to these billionaires. On the 19th of January, the same day that Davos started, Oxfam released a new report about billionaire wealth. It has jumped 3 times faster in 2025 than ever. Billionaire wealth now sits at $18 trillion. This is a 16% increase in 1 year. Just the 16% equals $2.5 trillion. According to Oxfam, that is enough to end extreme poverty 26 times over. This year, the theme of Davos is the spirit of dialogue. Some of the sessions on this year's agenda include: how can we build prosperity within planetary boundaries? Should we bet on climate moonshots? Will we ever have a global plastics treaty? Europe is treading water. How can it make waves? What the hell is prosperity without planetary boundaries? This week alone, Greenpeace has documented over 700 private jets landing in Davos. That's 1 in every 4 attendants travelling by their own private jet, including the ones who came from mainland Europe. They've already, in the first 3 days, produced the same amount of emissions as 350,000 cars. The people claiming to lead on climate just flew their private jets to a ski resort to talk about surpassing planetary boundaries. This is a level of grandeur and self-delusion that we actually need to start confronting directly. These morons are sitting inside an air-conditioned conference call talking about the circular economy. How can it be the spirit of dialogue if you have to pay $670,000 just to be in on the conversation? Media attendance to this event was invite only. There are 400 media representatives on site, 400 journalists who secured themselves an invite. That means there are 400 media publications who are going to spit verbal diarrhea at you for the next 2 weeks about this and its huge successes. Major outlets are also hosting side events. Bloomberg, CNBC, Financial Times, Axios, Politico. They're offering breakfasts and dinners and fireside chats with the billionaires. The strategic partners for this year's event include Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, TikTok, Palantir, BlackRock, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, Bain, Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, EY, Pfizer, Novartis, AstraZeneca, Sanofi, Shell and BP. That's your villain list right there. I mean, if one of these mountains collapsed, the world would be okay. This meeting isn't about saving the world. It's about saving their position in it. But by attending this, they out themselves. Davos gives us a live-streamed org chart of modern geopolitical power. Attendance lists for the World Economic Forum show you who's in the room, who paid for access, and who they consider their peers. That is a power map of money, public office, and media relations in one après-ski location. If someone is on the WEF board and also in a policy advisor role, you've just found a junction in political power. Trace the PPPs, the public-private partnerships that get announced at Davos. They tell you plainly which government ministry, which corporation, which international body, which NGO is steering policy in this area. By concentrating themselves in a huge room, they do a lot of the investigative work for us. The WEF have met at Davos every year for the last 56 years, and every time they meet, they talk about improving lives and saving the world and turning understanding into action. But over those 56 years, inequality has widened to historic levels. Climate meltdown is accelerating. Billionaires have captured more political power than ever before. Trust in institutions has crumbled. And 60% of billionaire wealth now comes from monopoly power. If your dialogue has been happening for half a century and every problem you claim to be fixing has gotten substantially worse, you are not solving anything. You are hosting the annual Performance of Concern while protecting the system that enriches only you. The call to action for today is to please share this video with as many people as you can and talk about this. It's happening this week. And the only reason it still exists is because it creates the narrative of its own legitimacy. That's why there's 400 invite-only journalists. We now need to counter that propaganda by covering this ourselves on social media. You can use my talking points. They're free. I'm going to be putting visuals and scripts into the Discord. There are people protesting this, and if you see those protests covered on your feed this week, repost them. Every little helps. This is the link to my Discord, where you can pick up those resources and join our lovely community. I am an independent journalist and I release my work for free because it's in the public interest. I am trying to raise money to get my infographics created by a real artist. So if you can support in any shape or form, even if it's just £1, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/AliMacForever. You can also send me notes and videos on this platform, and I like reading those.